Well, folks, an appeals court upheld the ruling in the E Jean Carroll case against Orangina. Yeah. Despite MAGA's desperately unhinged arguments that it was all just a liberal mirage, you may remember in 2023, a jury in Manhattan federal court unanimously ruled Orangina essayed E Jean Carroll in Bergdorf Goodman in the mid-90s and defamed her when he called her a liar. Orangina appealed the ruling, and this week he lost. A 3-judge panel unanimously rejected Orangina's argument and ruled that the trial judge in the 2023 case, Judge Kaplan, was correct in allowing jurors to hear evidence during the case of Orangina's prior predatory perversions, including his own admission of routinely assaulting women in the infamous Access Hollywood tape. The appeals court ruled the prior evidence established a repeated idiosyncratic pattern of conduct consistent with Carroll's allegations. You think? Well, you may remember the MAGA frenzy to downplay and dismiss the 2023 ruling because, according to Men Who Hate Women, being found liable for SA is a totally different animal than being found liable for grape. All those great fathers and husbands, super loyal church-going fellas who have everyone's best interest at heart. Yeah, my ass. Well, after the unanimous jury ruling in 2023, Judge Kaplan responded to the right's gaslighting campaign to rebrand the ruling, and he made sure to correct the record. See, in the trial, the jury had to decide whether Orangina graped, essayed, or forcibly touched E Jean based on the narrow definition of battery from New York State's penal code. E Jean testified that she was attacked, held down, and violently. She described excruciating pain. Because the jury was only able to unanimously conclude that Orangina used his fingers to cause that excruciating pain, but weren't sure he crossed the threshold with his other appendage, I guess the one it takes to get MAGA to acknowledge the crime, the jury went with a less blunt terminology. Based on that distinction, Orangina tried to get the damages reduced, but Judge Kaplan made sure to clarify that the trial evidence demonstrated Orangina did in fact grape E Jean, in the plain sense of the word. Judge Kaplan said ordinary dictionaries, the FBI, the U.S. military code, other state statutes, and the American Psychological Association, and common modern parlance all define grape in ways that comport with the jury's findings beyond the narrow technical meaning of a particular section of the New York penal law. Orangina's argument therefore ignores the bulk of the evidence at trial, misinterprets the jury's verdict, and mistakenly focuses on the New York penal law definition of the crime to the exclusion of the meaning of the word as it's often used in everyday life and of the evidence of what actually occurred. Okay? Now here's what I would like to say, and what any self-respecting woman should be saying to any man who claims to be a man, while parsing the terminology of these horrific offenses. There are no men in my life, none, not one, who would ever grab a woman by the pee, let alone brag about it. That's not locker room talk, that's admission of sociopathic criminality. Anyone who has done that, or who can brag about it to a complete stranger on a damn bus, is never worthy of leadership, trust, or frankly any value. Full stop. Let's be clear, folks. Men who commit crimes like these are highly likely to reoffend. They don't just go through a phase and then they're all good. Anyone who buys into grape culture by normalizing this is not a person worthy of relationships with women, and is certainly not a person worthy of leadership over any girls. And that is not something I will ever change my mind about. So if you're going to drop in my comments and try to argue about how a finger is far less traumatizing than man's best friend, you really better check yourself. And take a good long look in the mirror if you want to find the reason why the birth rate, marriages, and families are falling apart. And then have the day you deserve. Yeah.